Alright, making bread. I was going back through my old videos to try to figure out what's ones that look nice and what was the recipe, and then I realized I'm just sitting there. I'll just show the process and not say the ingredient amount. Maybe I did and have go through the archive of the video and like the whole thing that wasn't published. But yeah, oops. I think you're I have a million excuses for it, but I just didn't do it right. So today, making bread and doing the slightly low. I was doing 500, but 500 doesn't seem to have the oomph for some reason. So I do 333 of white, unbleached, and 333 of wheat. I also have my starter. I fed it last night around 10 o'clock. And when I checked it around 7:30 this morning, it already looked like it went through its, I think it starts to peak around 6 to 8 hours. So we're right at 6 hours now. I have to do the auto lease first. I don't have to, but that's the way I do it. So I'll give it another hour. I think it'll look okay. But first, let's get our stuff in here. I'm using DJI Action 4, so a little action camera. It's a little more versatile. And there'll be an edit here because when I move it, it goes so. And I've just made the noise either way. So we have our bowl here. Oh, gotta put it on the scale. I already have my water. I have 500 grams of water. I warmed it in the microwave for about 45 seconds because I want it to be, my hands are clean. I just washed them. Ooh, it's a bit hot, but that's fine because you'll lose a lot of heat because the flour is room temperature. So let's put this on here, zeroed out. So I always put in the white first because I'll put in a little less white. It doesn't, I'm more of the wheat, I think, is really what's the driver. The white just is more of a filler. I could do it all wheat, but the mixing helps a little bit. So let's put in around 300 grams of white, unbleached. It's another 100 grams to go. There we go. So the balance to get us up. Is the balance to get us up to 666 grams. Having a little more volume, having a little more, I've had better luck with it. I used to do, if you go back the other videos that I don't give you the amounts, I did use around 730 because I found 365, but those are the bigger pans. 365 of white, 365 of wheat was a pretty good balance. And I started to get good results, but then of course everything starts to work out well, so you want to change everything. So mix this up just a little bit. You don't necessarily have to do this. I just like to do this to feel, make sure there aren't any big clumps in it. You're going to get rid of them in a moment, but it's nice just to have the flour nice and neat. Got to make my TikTok video too, so adding my water. Put this over here. We're going to use that again. So yeah, the water's warm. I would say the water's about 105, 108. It's just warm enough that you feel it, but it's not like burning. So let's get mixing on this. This is going to take probably about 5 minutes or so. The nice thing about this is I use the camera, since it has a timer on it telling you how many minutes it's recorded. I just use that. I just keep an eye on it so that way I know. Okay, I started mixing. In the real world, it's been 5 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to edit it yet. But having a larger mass like this is just, it's a little bit easier. You think it would be easier with a smaller amount, but a smaller amount is way tougher because you have to be very precise, and boy, that's something I'm not. Very sticky, but not a problem. It's supposed to be sticky at this point. It's not. I'm not worried about it at all. So get some of this junk off. Just, it doesn't have to be fancy or pretty right now. It just has to be mixed, which it is. So cover it up, and we'll be back in an hour with our next step. All right, been an hour. Time to fire up the scale again. Gotta add some salt. My starter, look at that. It's just, it's still pretty airy. It's still fluffy. So this is what I want. I want to catch it on its way while it's still going up. I don't want to hit it at its peak. I want to hit it about 2 hours before its peak, which I think if I let it go, it'll touch the top and raise the top a little bit. So I'm catching it just before that. My dough's looking good. It feels nice and moist. 200 grams. 15 grams of salt. Divot it a little bit. Dump my salt in. Start working this in. Won't take that long. Away. I get my hand a little wet. My starter is a little bit more moist than I normally do it, but I think that's fine. I didn't put as much water as I normally do. I'm doing like 75% hydration, which is 499 grams of water. I think I may have put 500, but a gram like that doesn't really make a big difference. I'm really good. About 8 minutes in, I think we're good. Notice how it just, when you press it, it just pops. Let me get my finger wet a little bit. You press it and it just pops right back up. That's normal. That's what it's supposed to do at this stage. So I've been researching it. So okay, I think we're good. All of our ingredient mixing is done. So now I'm going to take this and pop this back into our greased bowl. I'm going to let it sit. Let it sit for an hour, and then we'll be back and do our folds. All right, it's been an hour. See how it relaxed a bit. Get my hands, already washed my hands, get them nice and wet. Is that a little bubble? Yeah, a little bubble. See how it's relaxed and it comes up, but not really. So let's get the folds in. Let's get the camera out. That holds really well. It's a little bit sticky, not a problem. Just peel it off a little bit. All right. Holds well, feels good. I can can feel a lot of little bubbles. So just use the resistance of the bowl to give it a fold. Wow, feels pretty good. Let me get both of my hands wet real quick. I want to make it into a ball so that way I can really see what it does as far as, yeah, that's a big air bubble right there. That's because I was folding it not from gases or whatever, but it does feel really nice. So alright, so I'm gonna leave it in here. Look how smooth it looks. It looks really nice. I don't know how well. This is DJI Action 4. It's a small action camera. I have a nice light on the top, a small rig light that makes the quality of the camera shine really. So look how smooth it is. So I'm gonna let it sit like this, put a cover back on, and be back in an hour. That was fold 1, so we have 2 more folds to go, and the second fold will occur in 1 hour. Look how smooth it is. It's nice and relaxed. It's coming back very slow. Wet hand. Let's stretch it out. This is the second fold of 3. So it's looking pretty good. It's feeling nice. You wanna, I think I've had the best luck, I should say, when it's floppy, but when you do this, it starts to firm up. That usually I have the best luck with that. Does not mean it's gonna be perfect, but the chances of it being just like a gooey mess aren't as strong, I guess. But you see how it's kind of like holding now? So the folds are the easy part of the video and editing because I almost never cut anything out of it because it's just the process. So it's been just about a minute of folding. It feels pretty nice. So let's do the ball thing again. So ideally we wanna make it so it'll hold its shape. That's what we're building the gluten strand so that way it'll be nice and strong. So we have a nice strong dough. The stronger the dough, it'll hold together when I shape it, and then it'll be then it'll grow properly, and it won't spread and be a flat disc. It'll be a nice puffy thing that'll have a good amount of air. Won't be dense. It'll be light and fluffy like breads normally is, typically is, not always. It still rips, which is fine. That's why we do this. We're getting it so it won't rip anymore, but it's going to be a little bit more work, and that's why we're doing it. So hands getting a little dry. You can't, when your hands get dry, then it just gets sticky. Okay, a little bit rough, but I smoothed it out a little bit, stretched a bit more. So now let it rest for another hour, and we'll do our last. All right. I left my handprint on it. Anyway, looks good, I think. Just see what it feels like. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's a decent amount of dough, but I knew what I was signing up for. So yeah, oh, there you go. It's tightening out really nice. That's good. Let's really get in there and make sure it's nice and smooth. So I'm just turning and then moving my hand inward to just tighten it up. The whole idea here. And the more I do this, the more I feel it getting tighter and then it starts to rip a little bit, which is fine. That's kind of what I'm looking for, but it doesn't do it as much. As long as I keep moving and working it, it doesn't rip that much, just a little bit on the edges. So yeah, there we go. That's the last fold. We're gonna let it rest for another hour, and then we'll work on our on shaping and proofing. But see how it's nice? It's wobbly. I've had better luck with a little bit more volume. 500's good, but this is my 666, right? So anyway, gonna let it rest for another hour, and then we'll work on our shaping. All right, now the fun part, or at least what I think is pretty fun, go to shape it and put it in the pan, in the Banneton to proof. It feels pretty good. So just let the resistance. I used to put flour, but I found just letting it stretch with that little bit of resistance is very nice. It's pretty window pane, that's pretty good. So now we just use that resistance, just winding it up here, just like winding up a top or something like that. I know all the kids love to play with tops nowadays. What's something that, like those little cars you wind up and you press a little button? I used to have those when I was a kid, so I don't know if the kids do that anymore either, but okay. Seems pretty nice. It's okay. Take it, flip it, and put it this way. I want to make sure everything is good on this side. So there we go. Now we have that. Good. Cover it. Shower cap. I put some oil on the inside, so if it does touch it, it won't stick to it. And in the proofing oven. Alright, it doubled. It more than doubled. Well, it just about doubled. It filled in all of this, and it's right on level with the top, so that's great. I'm gonna put it in the fridge now, overnight, and we'll get back to it in the morning. Oh, she's looking. She's watching Zoe eat. Okay, that's fine. As long as she's just out of, I don't want her by the oven, obviously. Thank you. Got our thing here. Let's take a look at our bread real quick. It filled in really nicely, so hopefully that's the deal this morning. All right. So we got this going. Nice hot oven. Let's get this sucker in here. little bit wobblier than I'd like to see, but I think we're okay. We're gonna hit that hot oven, it should be all right. So let's do this. Set my timer for 20 minutes and we'll see how it comes out. 20 minutes we'll take the lid off, we'll take a look. And then like the finishing is like 12 minutes to get some color on it. Alright, looks good. Has a nice odor. Rose a decent amount. It kind of went out a little bit more than I'd wanted to, but it smells nice. It has a nice texture to it. A lot of fermentation, a lot of little bubbles on it, so nice and hot. So it is 9:25 in the morning. I'm gonna try to cut it tonight, but I may not cut it till the morning. I let it sit and then I put it in a bag, one of these reusable bags later. But gotta let it sit and cool off now. Next morning, let's see what we got here. Pretty nice crumb. Sometimes it'll get a little bit gooey right here. It doesn't seem to be the case. It had decent rise to it. It's got pretty good surface area that's like 3.5 inches, so get a nice piece of toast out of it. So. But yeah, a little bit of some decent bubbles here, nothing that you can't get around, but yeah, okay. Larger recipe, it handles better with a larger recipe for some reason. I've had better luck, I should say, but yeah, time to make breakfast.